Hey guys, this is a general reading for Taurus for pretty much like the end of March, but April 2019. I'm going to title this video April. It's for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. And if you're a cross watcher, if you're just drawn to this video, if you have significant Taurus in your chart, sorry. You may also want to check out my other videos for your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Anything that's significant in your chart, or just any of my videos that you're drawn to that's either already out or coming out. Energy is fluid, so this could have already happened. It could be happening now. It could happen in the future. I could read this as love. It could be a career. I could read this for you. It could be a loved one. Just flip-flop it and apply it as necessary. Take what fits, leave the rest. Don't make it fit if it doesn't fit. Just so you know, as of right now, I'm also running, kind of doing like these little giveaways just as my way of giving back, but also thanking my subscribers and, you know, people being there for me, and then even just people who are a little down on their luck. But at the end of every month, after the month is over, I will randomly pull from the comments and somebody will get a free pre-recorded reading. So, you know, obviously I would pull in April for March and May for April, and you get the idea. It just something more than just like a period or whatever. I mean, it doesn't have to be long, but like a sentence or something, but leave a comment. And of course it has to be in the tarot videos. I put out different types of videos, so it has to be in the tarot videos, the zodiac sign ones. And like, say if you leave one for, like this one will be for April, I will pull that from May, in May. If you're watching this and we're still in the month of March, go back to any, whether, you know, technically you watch it or not, go back to one of my other, I mean, I would recommend watching it, but one of my other tarot readings for March, which there's not a lot because I haven't, I've been going through a lot, so I haven't posted a lot, but go back to one from March and put a comment on it to be in the running. You get the idea of it. Also, thank you so much for those of you who have participated in helping out, whether it's by liking my channel, subscribing, commenting. Please hit the bell. I put out different types of videos. All of your supporting emails. For those of you who have inquired about and donated to my channel to like give back, and because something I said helped you or affected you or something, thank you so much for that. And for those of you who are wondering, the information is in the description box below. My email address, PayPal address. If you're wondering about like services, so thank you for those who have, you know, participated with services. All information's in the description box below. However, I also do a chakra clearing and rebalancing. So if you're interested in that, email me. I haven't added it to my description box yet. But thank you so much for people who have helped with that, because I am, you know, on a path where I'm trying to heal myself and learn about myself in order to help other people. So pretty much all the money that I get, whether it's from the channel, services, donations, anything like that, go towards that journey. Such as this week, I'll be going down south and learning my Master Reiki. So I already know Reiki 1 and 2, but I'll be learning Master Reiki. That way I can teach it. And then in April, I'll be doing my second direction of shamanic training. And then it was supposed to be this year, but it got postponed. So starting next year, in 2020, I'll be learning plant spirit medicine. So it's just further ways to heal myself and give back and help others, all of which I can also do distant. So it's just me being able to continue and helping and be there for people, because there's a lot of people going through a lot of stuff right now. And I mean, I need help too. But people, you know, really need people to help them through these processes. And so this is what I'm doing. And thank you so much for you guys that are helping me with this. So Taurus is, this is probably going to be, I don't know, we'll see what it turns out to, but one of the most upbeat readings. For one, it's taking everything I have to do this video. So I hope you guys know how much I love you for me doing this. I'm probably not going to get a whole lot of, well, I probably won't when I get back. I'm only going to have time to probably do 1 or 2 videos, and I have a few like services I have to get out before I go out of town. And then I'll be resuming work, I think, on Tuesday. So, it's just a lot going on. It's a lot of energies, and I don't know if it's just me, but, with, you know, Chiron being in Aries, and I think I'm going to do a video on all this separately, but Uranus going back into Taurus, and Mercury retrograde especially. I mean, it's just really all hit me since the beginning of March, basically. And it just in so many ways, and so much introspection, so much stuff coming out. Again, I'm going to put this in another video, so I'm not going to go into it too much here, but it's just such an introspective time. I feel like to some degree I might be going through like another like mini dark night of the soul or something. So let's just get started on your reading, because I understand the overall meaning of it, but there's some of it that I don't know, and I'll probably figure out as I get channeling. And I'm glad I am forcing myself to do this, because maybe some people really need words of encouragement to get through this, just because it might be kind of like a time, and just knowing it's just going to be a period in time, you know? And I don't know. We'll see how this flows, because I just am really at this point where it's like I want to do stuff because my energy just feels like stagnant and like, but at the same time, it's like I just don't want to talk. So we'll see how this goes. But in the center of your reading, if I think of anything else that I forgot, I'll let you know. I feel like I'm just off, so. But anyways, in the center of your reading, you have the Emperor. So, you know, I really get a lot of this. There's a lot of pulling back energy, and kind of not saying a lot. Like the Emperor doesn't say a lot of things, but they try to maintain and stay in their power and stay structured and stay rigid. Sometimes in a good way and sometimes in not a good way. But trying to maintain structure. And he just doesn't say a whole lot. Kind of just sits back, is able to act if he needs to, but not a lot of action. You know, the Emperor is very good about dictating, which I don't think that's an important part on that. I don't think a lot of Tauruses are dictating a whole lot. I think it's mostly saying that they're taking a step back and really regaining their energy, re-strategizing on what do they want to build, what's important to them, what do they want it to look like, how are they going to go about doing it, and what are the blocks possibly to doing it. I think I'll go on, and if I need to come back to it, I will. I also get a very big father thing there, so maybe for some, there's so many ways all this can go, but some might have, you know, father wound issues, maybe even mother wound issues. Some of this might even, you know, come up in a way of a relationship. But I think unless it goes more strongly for this, this seems to be a lot more of a soul journey type reading. There is little parts of love in this. But this is mostly about, you know, what Taurus is internally are going to be going through this month. So maybe even a problem with or dealing with certain things of integrating your masculine and feminine within yourself even. I mean, it could be being mirrored in your external. But what's crossing you is you have the Queen of Pentacles. So, you know, really needing to ground yourself or stay grounded. And maybe that's the reason for the Emperor thing, is trying to come back to and stay stable and grounded. But looking at what you're holding on to and what you value. What is going to bring you a lucrative, it's kind of like the same as the Emperor, like and if you guys haven't taken a step back, maybe this is urging you to do this, to like what's crossing you with the Queen of Pentacles, going more in your receptive state, where it's asking you to step back, sit back. I know with me, it somewhat forced me to do it, because I don't know if I would have gotten that message otherwise. And I would have just been like trying to do a bunch of work and stuff because I was like really getting going, and it was like, nope, not yet, and just like pulled me back to where like I couldn't even do it. But to go back into your receptive state, because there's a reevaluation process that needs to happen again. I mean, this is going to come in stages, and I get the vibe that this is another stage. To really go within and see another layer of yourself, to see what your beliefs are, to see what you're wanting, what's holding you back, you know, just all of those things. And what do you value and why? What are you holding on to, and what is serving you, and what needs to be let go of? Because there is a fiery in your foundation. I mean, you have a lot of court cards here, especially in the beginning of this, but you have this fiery, passionate, kind of creative side, this way that you're wanting to be enthusiastic and take action, that's wanting to come out, that's wanting to give you your passion back, your vitality back, your energy back, to be honest with you. Because I know it's asking you to pull back in your energy, but let's face it, most Tauruses have not had their level of energy that they've had before in a long time. I think we're slowly getting it back, surely. Or slowly, should I say, so that we can do our little things to keep growing, but every now and then it does yank us back, because there is somewhere that we're being aimed to go, especially with Uranus being in Taurus. This is another one of those phases that's like, I need to make sure you know where you're going. I need to make sure that you know what you're building, and that you know what you're creating. And not only so that it's what's best for you, and we need to bring this stuff up that might distract you, or might inhibit you, or might make you think in ways that you shouldn't think, that are not for your highest good, that are not going to bring you this plan of that which you're creating, this empire that you're trying to create. We need to get this out of you, and we have to make it seen. Just saying that even makes me, want to cry. So a lot of you may be going through or will go through a lot of purging of emotions, realities, thoughts, seeing things about yourself, old things, and I kind of already have. So I'll do a video. Like I said, I'm going to do a video on that on I don't know, it'll be something along the lines of like where I've been or during these energies with the Mercury retrograde. Probably have something in there about my soul retrieval too, in case you're wondering what video it is. But or just watch all my videos and then you'll know. But it's really wanting you to go and prepping you to go somewhere and moving forward, and to where you have your energy and you are spiritually in line, and you just know what direction you're going in. You know what action to go in. But it's got to make you sit and self-reflect first and see where your value is and what you want. Let's pull a card on it just for craps and giggles. Yeah. I think it's making you, like I was saying, just really self-reflect on which way you're going and what you want. Because clarifying that you have the Seven of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. So it's like being confused. And I know that's really hard, because I know with me personally, I've never in my life not been able to control something. Well, one thing I haven't. But as far as things I was building for the most part, I've never not known what it was. I've never not known how to create it or been able to or whatever. And, this is the first time in my life that I haven't been able to quite yet, or to even know, or to even have the energy to do it. I've always been able to like push my energy through anything. And, this is the first time in my life I've not been able to, and thank God, to be honest with you. But it's really, trying, like, I feel like this card is like, it should say so much more, but it's not. And so maybe you or somebody else really isn't saying more than they should, or enough of what they should, but, or you're feeling like, I should know more. You should be telling me more. Why don't I know more? Why can't I figure this out? What direction do I go? What is the best thing for me? When is this going to change and flip over to where, for the love of God, I can move forward again? It's that resentment of a corralled bull that can't move. And on one hand, it's asking you to go within so that you can help work on this energy. But on the other hand, it's telling you, relax, there's a reason for all of this. It's like a bowl in a china cabinet. It's kind of the vibe I get, where it's like, if you were to go full force right now, you would go building and creating and doing things in a way that would just have to get torn down again and just really deplete your energy and maybe your will and your faith and all of that. So you're really being held off while these layers of these onion, you know, is being peeled off so that you can really see. There's a thing here really of healing, and seeing enlightenment. This is on the bottom of the deck, the star card, which you have twice because it's on the bottom of this deck too. So maybe there's an Aquarius in your life, but I'm not going to go too much on the signs. You're having a hard time building and growing because you don't know yet what you can build and grow or put your energy and your value into, or even what you want to. There, you might even see so many things or have split feelings on it, especially if you're still healing, because you don't really know. You know, one part of you might be telling you it still wants one thing, and the other part of you is like, no, I don't. Like, I don't. And going through either karmic lessons or karmic tests or just letting things go, because you're in the middle of things right now. You know, you're in the middle of, you know, crap, I can't really go back to what was, nor do I really want to, but I don't know yet where to put all my focus. And that's kind of the good thing and the bad thing about Tauruses is they are hard to get moving. They are hard to get doing stuff because they are so focused. So it really takes them to be fully in alignment with what they're doing, to fully know, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what's best for me. This will be a good investment to pay off. Especially if they've been burned in the past, to put all their energy into, because once you do get going, it is hard to stop a bull. It's hard to stop a Taurus. It's hard to side rail their focus. And on one hand, that kind of sucks because they can be seen as like narrow-minded or not being able to see the bigger picture or whatever. But on the other hand, man, that's some focus and determination. If I were to have anybody working alongside of me on a project, honestly, it would probably be any earth sign, actually. I would take a Virgo, Taurus, or a Capricorn. I would also take a Scorpio, as long as they were right on page with me. If they weren't, then no, that's not worth it. But if they were, then or at least able to communicate and work properly with me, then yes, because, you know, that's some go. But it would be a Taurus too, any earth sign, but a Taurus, because they're focused. It is annoying when they're like, I don't know, because it really takes them being able to know to go, because there is such a level of detail there. There is such a level of conviction and commitment and loyalty that a Taurus does have, but they have to know. And yes, there's some lessons here. Maybe it's like doing it and not knowing. And so you still got to move and learn, but part of that is not going to change. You know, no matter what you change in a Taurus, like we can all evolve, but some of us is still going to stay that way. And it's learning to work with your attributes and your pros and your cons about yourself. I'm sorry if I'm not saying things in the best of way. Like, I barely even want to talk right now. So just bear with me if the flowiness is not the same as normal. This is probably the hardest Mercury retrograde I've personally ever been through, that I know of consciously. But so there is a benefit to being held back right now. Because I do think that Tauruses do have a lot in store for them and a lot of good things. there's just a lot of things they're having to shed. For one, you know, two of the signs of the zodiac signs that are the most likely to hold on to the past are Tauruses and Pisces. Any water sign can too, but Taurus and Pisces are probably the most two that that I can say. And because of that, it's even more important that you really get a lot of this stuff cleared away and clarified and released and seen, so that you don't go and build and recreate in a similar way or a way that's not beneficial to you like you did in the past. A way of evolving so that your higher self or your higher conscious can help you create, and not your ego, only your ego or your wounds, or your subconscious, really. There's a big thing here of delving into your subconscious. Like I said, the dark night of the soul, shadow work type stuff. So really needing to look at maybe even old wounds in this lifetime or things from another lifetime even coming up. All the ways you can go and being confused. But in your recent past, you have the Nine of Wands reversed and you have the King of Swords. So again, you know, something showing here to me of an Aquarius. So some of you might be or have dealt with an Aquarius. I don't know. Maybe somebody who even caused a wound, which could be a father or someone you were with that, you know, didn't fight through things with you. Just as a side note, I don't know. Because under this, you have, you know, like I said, the star was at the bottom, but you have the star, the Queen of Swords, and the Ten of Swords. So definitely healing over something that was, you know, cut away and very painful. You might have even developed a wound that was like, it really affected you spiritually and energetically, and feeling like, you know, you're not strong enough to fight through this or to keep fighting and persevering through this. Some of you might have made a decision that you couldn't fight anymore for something, and you made the decision to let it go, whether it be a divorce, you know, a relationship of any kind. Some of you might have even had to go to a lawyer or somebody in an expert field, or even like, you know, therapy or whatever, to try to get help on this, or for somebody to make a decision. But I just think that something ended, and you or somebody else didn't want to fight anymore, didn't want to persevere anymore, didn't want to stick it out anymore. They just went logical and made the decision. And maybe there is a level here of that logically, you know what happened. And this, I really feel, this is a deep reading, so I really feel this is like multi-layered. Like not even just in a certain situation, like say a relationship. I mean, like it even goes to like your childhood too, where it was shown in another situation, but it also started in your childhood. But also to a degree of carrying this through lifetimes. There's just huge stuff needing to be purged and brought up, and that this is the lifetime to do it and heal through that. Many swords, many wounds, many lifetimes, many scenarios. And feeling like everything you have that you could fight with or fight for, was removed. And then it just went logical, and then you just stayed too much in your head instead of your heart space or your spiritual space. And I've kind of thought that a couple times too about things that are hard to let go of. Is there a chance that if you let go of it, it's kind of scary, because what are you going to have to fight for? Because you haven't transitioned to like that new way of thinking yet, that new stuff you want, maybe even like furthering developing you. And so your mind stays stuck on this. This keeps us going. This keeps giving us determination. This gives us our will. Because at one time, like your mind told you, before whatever situation you're hanging on to, or certain things you like you didn't, it didn't go well, or you didn't have something to focus on, or you didn't do well. Like your mind's basically just tricking you in some way. And it's almost like if you let that go, what will happen? What will you fall to? What will get you moving? What will be your motivation then? What will be your thing to think about? What will pop you out of the unhappy or miserable existence that you're in? That is you. It's like, and I heard this in a song that was like, I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all. So it's like people are like, why are you staying in a situation even though it's painful or it's not good for you or whatever? Why do you stay on hanging on to something that's, just not, it's not benefiting you? And it's like, well, what will I feel if I don't feel that? What will remind you that you're alive and that you want to be alive? Will you forget what happened? Will it happen again? It's almost like if you let it go, you will forget. And if you forget, it will make you susceptible and vulnerable to it happening again. And going through that level of, pain or fear or being scared or not good enough or whatever. And yeah, you might, but the thing is, like, it chances are it's not going to hurt as bad as it did the first time. You weren't equipped. You didn't know what would happen. It's not going to hurt the same again. And even if it does hurt, like, you're sitting here alive. You know what I mean? And I get that you may feel more fractioned than you were before that, but a lot of that has to do with you and your perception. So I think that's what it's trying to do too, is to help get you focusing on your perception and your values and the way you look at things and your wounds, what is tainting your perception, so that you can move forward and be vulnerable, knowing that life has its ups and downs, but it's all dependent on how we perceive things. It's all dependent on what we do with those things. Whether we let them break us, whether we let them build us, whether we choose to use them and take the lesson and then give back and help others, or whatever it is that you do with it. It's about finding what we value again in a true and more genuine way, your true way that is really you. It's not your fears, it's not your blocks, it's not what you've learned, it's not what keeps you safe or what keeps you loved or whatever. It's genuinely you. Because the way you were doing it before made it to where you didn't have really the will to survive. Your mind and your mental patterns is what kept you going, but it's also what held you down. And it's seeing, maybe even having compassion for where that served you at one time, but where it's not now. And I know this is what people have been saying all since everybody's been awakening, but honestly, especially for someone like a Taurus, but honestly, you can't just wake up all at once a lot of times for most people. I mean, it happens in stages throughout the ascension, and it would be too much of a shock for your body to handle. It has to happen in stages. And so you probably, are going through here like your kind of upgrade, your little awakening or whatever. But you have to understand that anytime you have a little awakening or a perspective shift like that, especially an awakening where you ascend, there is going to be a shadow period. Because any time that you shed light on something, things are going to come to light. So as you keep going through these stages of evolution and learning and growing and ascending, things are going to purge. Okay? So don't let your mindset go there in a victim way that it's like, what the heck? Why does this keep happening? I don't want to keep going through this. I don't want to keep being stuck. I don't have the thing to get through this. Yes, you do. And your perception has a lot to do with how much energy you have too, which is why I'm saying this. So be okay with it. Flow with it. Flow through it. Knowing that just, okay, as I rise, stuff may come up. Stuff for me to see. Stuff for me to work through. Stuff for me to stuff for me to heal. And, it gets easier over time. I know it's like, but it does, because you learn more and more tools. You learn more and more resources. And then the more and more of you that's coming up, the less it's like, you know what I mean? It's like some of the harder stuff's really come out, Just don't expect it to end. Like, if you have the expectation that it's never going to be difficult again, or it's never going to be hard again, you're going to be sorely mistaken. You're going to be sad, you're going to be disappointed, you're going to throw yourself into even more of a depression, dark night of the soul, and you're going to be resisting it. Just flow with it. There is an ascension here coming, which is why you either are being guided to pull back, if you could feel it in the energies, or why this reading is telling you to pull back, because there is a certain level of healing and enlightenment that's going on. However, whether it comes first or second, there is going to be a shadow period that it's always attached to it. Just like with life, they always say death is its best friend. When you have life, you have death. When you have birth, you have death. They're hand in hand. You really can't have one without the other. You can't have light without dark. You can't have life without death. It's the way it goes. And you can't have healing without the shadow. But what's in your crowning the reading is you have the Page of Pentacles. So, you know, this is now seeing I mean, this is obviously your new beginning that you're wanting. I mean, you've got the Page of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. So on a conscious level, you're, you know, trying to do a little something to start out. Kind of actually, I'm getting this vibe of you're really limiting yourself, actually. You're not going full gusto. You're selling yourself short. And you're not really seeing the full big picture here. You're not really seeing and feeling your power and what you really can and are able to do. But subconsciously, it's like, you know. I mean, this could even be your higher self that's trying to really push you to go. And that's why you're being guided to be held back and really look at what are you looking at? What are you valuing? What are you working for? Why are these both queens? And, you know, your main energy is Emperor, but in your mind, you're in the Page of Pentacles. So, I mean, you could be waiting on a message to, maybe that's how you're limiting yourself, is what you're trying to manifest, what you're waiting on. Are you still waiting on the message? Are you still waiting on something that you value that, you know, really honestly kept you in this state? Soulless, fightless, passionless. I'm not talking about that instant gratification type passion, but that one that keeps you in your head, that keeps you cycling in ways that just aren't good for you. Negative thought patterns, negative mental patterns. Recycling your wounds. Like, he's like in a healing process after all he's been through with this. He's not. You're highly limiting yourself. And yes, you are somewhat being held back too. Why? Because this is what's in your mind. You're not even seeing what all you really have. You're not even seeing your true potential. What could really be. When you're trying to create with this Page of Pentacles, it is because you're going off what you already know, what you already been doing, what you've already programmed yourself to think and work towards. And there's more for you. And you're being asked to move outside of that. To think bigger, be bigger, do bigger. Love bigger. Have faith bigger. Want to grow bigger. These are two very different energies. This is what's in your thoughts. This is what's sitting at the center of your reading. This is a child. This is a fatherly role. This is a builder. They build an empire. They rule. I mean, that's another thing too. Like, you know, don't take action in things that you shouldn't be. Put action in things you should. And if you need help or you need to delegate, then delegate. But either way, this is a very small energy. No offense to this little Page of Pentacles, but small energy, huge energy. Yes, you need to start somewhere. But This guy is just learning, just figuring things out. And yes, you need to always stay in a learner mode, but there's more that you know. You're not giving yourself credit for something. This is giving your power away. This is acting like, I don't know. I'm not good enough. I can't do that. I could never do what this guy does. I don't know what this guy knows. I don't have the power this guy has. I can't be respected like this one does. I can't ask for what I want like this one can. I could never build like this one can. Maybe one day, but this guy can do it now. I'm not as strong as this guy. I'm not as respected as this guy. I can go on and on. I mean, you know where I could go with that. And I just really get from this card just a minimizing of your energy. And that's probably why you have so many things here that are such bigger energies, is showing you like, what are you doing? Like, really? What are you going for? What are you waiting for? Why are you thinking of yourself that way? Why don't you see the potential here? What do we have to do to get you to see the potential? And I mean, this is a general reading, so it's going to be different for everybody. On what the universe is going to do to get you to see this potential. And for some of you, it can come as something that, you know, kind of really sucks, or it's scary or whatever. And again, watch your thoughts on it, because what you do with this is up to you. It's trying to show you your potential. It's trying to show you what powers and capabilities you really have. It's trying to get you to learn to fight again. But this time, you're fighting for you. And you're fighting to get to know you and what's inside you. You're fighting for the person in you and for who you are. For its healing. For its voice. For its desire. In this lifetime, in past lifetimes, of all versions of yourself. Your childhood self, your young adult self, your teenage self, your all of them. All the different phases. Look at different pictures of yourself in different ages of you being, and look at them, reflect on it. What were you going through at that time? What did that person believe at that time? What picture do you have that was at your lowest time, or is this your lowest time? What were you learning? What have you come back from? What did that person believe? What did they just go through? What thought did this age have that this one didn't have? How did you adapt when you got from this age to this age? And what caused that to happen? What did you carry over mentally? Just look at different things, to look at different things about yourself. Tap into all of them, love all of them, heal all of them. But do not let them hold you back. And do not let them think that you're smaller than you are, because they went through things that were scary, or painful, that made them feel like they weren't strong and good enough, or powerful enough, or that even in another lifetime, something happened that made you fall asleep to your true power. Again, this could be on all different levels, so I'm not going to go there. Use your imagination. But there is so many things that could have happened, whether in this lifetime or another lifetime, And it's great if you know that. One day my goal is to help people with this as I finish with my shamanic training and be able to help people do like soul retrievals and stuff. That's one of my biggest goals that I would like to do in this lifetime, is to bring back the souls to people, the soul essences, which would bring back the soul to the earth. Because sometimes as we hold on to things that aren't helping us or that we don't need to, it pushes out parts of our soul essences. Or as our soul essences flee because something is too painful or too much, it gets filled with something else that was not beneficial. Especially when you're not awake and you're not aware that that's what happened, that space is filled with something else. And then over time, this happens. Where you're just in your head and not here anymore. And it just starts to spiral. In your likely future, you have the 10 of Cups and you have the Strength card. So, you know, you get to what you want. You get that emotional fulfillment and that emotional happiness, whatever that looks like to you. You learn how to calm that part of yourself and love that part of yourself. And you learn to move forward as you need to. You learn to find that peace. You learn to find that strength. And you learn to find that acceptance to where you are right now as you're moving forward as you need to. That you are your own critic. You are your own enemy. Like, you're not fighting against somebody else. It's you. It's especially your mind. It puts the end to the conflict and the confusion, maybe even competition. Maybe some of you have something to address within your family. Sorry if you can hear my dogs. People next door are doing like housework, and just for the last couple days, it's all they do is bark. You know, there's a lot of anxiety. You have the 9 of Swords coming up a lot, the 10 of Wands. A lot of burdens, a lot of anxiety, there's just a lot of mental patterns. Okay. But it's like you finally find the peace that you've been looking for because you're able to quiet this part of yourself down. Like, this is definitely part of you, obviously. And I think you see something during this. I think you see a level of a part of yourself that you now learn to train or calm or control, like to quiet down. So that it doesn't run you anymore. It doesn't affect your happiness and the way that you view the world, like your perspective. Like, I get a huge perspective card or vibe from this too. It really helps you check your perspective, because for me, in my opinion, perspective can make or break your happiness. perspective can throw you into depression. It's all about perspective. So if you can find a way to watch your mind and allow your mind to assist you but not control you, you can bring yourself out of depression. Many people are diagnosed with mental disease even, could come out of that and heal themselves. Many mental diseases are your brain's way of trying to cope with something that there's a disintegration to, or a not understanding to. I really even feel too, like sometimes when people have energies and they're sensitive to energies and they don't know what's going on, or in their own abilities, your body internalizes it and it takes it as an attack on itself, and then you get all types of disease, mental, physical, whatever. So you've really got to learn a way to see these energies and flow these energies and move these energies and just see them and release them and not hold on to them, so that you can release dis-ease, basically. And I think this is what happens in your likely future, is that it's gonna be a long video. Who knew, for somebody who didn't feel like talking, you know what I mean? Are you kidding though? I think you really see something about your perspective here. And you really learn to have compassion, but get control on it. And I think, I didn't mean to put them here, but I think what kind of affects this is you have the Chariot and the Hanged Man, but awareness and new vision. I mean, these are two big cards about awakening. She's literally stepping out of her own old shell. And if you can see this person, they're bent down ugh. And as they're stepping up and standing up again, I don't know if you could see it, but there's wings coming off his arms. And I mean, here's your perspective card too, The Hanged Man is all about perspective. And they go from being down in the ground, crawling, to standing up and growing wings. Stepping out of what once, out of the fire, and there emerges your more genuine self. A level of integration and more independence and completeness. And I don't know if I can get more specific on what causes that, because like I said, this is a general reading. So if you do want more help with this on your perspective, what you're going through, stuff like that, of course, hit me up to work through the blocks. Hit me up for my readings, or look at my services in the description box below. But everybody's just going to be different on it's very strong. Things are coming up, especially emotions and wounds and ways of thinking. How you see yourself is, you have the Page of Cups, but it's kind of like this. So again, you could be waiting on an offer. Which you could be feeling like is a no-go. Maybe you're starting to emotionally give up on it and go for some other new beginning, some other lucrative beginning, but you're trying to emotionally shut down, either completely or just on that offer. Yeah. I think you're possibly even like shutting, like how there's like removing yourself. You have the public card reversed. Like you're pulling to yourself, not really offering, not waiting, not accepting, not whatever. I think some of you are starting to like even lose trust emotionally, possibly even shutting down. Another thing to Aquarius, so there's a lot of Aquarius here. But you do have Mercury. So some of you might be going through this from or during Mercury retrograde. And it's really making you go within and looking the fact that your heart, maybe you've shut your heart down, and that you don't trust people and the vulnerability of it. I know that I realized, like I was going to put this in my other video too, but I realized how much my heart, was shut down. And I noticed that as it actually started to open up. And I realized that I was loving more and more, that it made me scared. So you might really be seeing yourself as, you're starting to try to block things off from yourself, especially love or anything emotional wise. And I don't know if you're just trying to focus more on money or money for yourself, or a better type of relationship. Like you realize that what you have been waiting on isn't coming and isn't for the best, or maybe not even work out for you. So I think you're like starting over. You're wanting to start over in a more lucrative way, something that could pay off for you. And that's why you're really being pulled back right now and being assisted, is because it doesn't want you to think that you're going to this and end up right back here again. Not that this is bad, but there's something that you're missing, and it's not just in this other person. There's something about yourself that you need to heal and integrate that you're not seeing about yourself. Illusions. That probably came from like your childhood. What's in your environment is the Five of Wands. So, could be somebody who just always wants to argue. You could be spiritually conflicted. What about the Five of Wands? Competition. Maybe this person made you feel competitive and they were mirroring the reality that you don't feel good enough about yourself. Needing to stand up for yourself, but being around people that are only in it for what they want, and they don't care if they fluster you or take from you to get what they want. And they know it too. Somebody you're around knows it, because they see you as being anxious. They see you in the Nine of Swords. Or, I mean, it may not even be that you have this around. You could just see it this way. Like, your perspective could see it that way. And see everything as, like, a fight or a competition. Because the only time people see things all the time as a competition is when they don't feel good enough about themselves, when they're comparing themselves. That they're super critical of themselves. And when you're super critical of yourself, you're never good enough. Things always have to be the way that you want them to be. And you'll be in a lack mentality where you're seeing, you know, look at all this you have to compete with. And it might not even be that they're trying to put you in this anxious state. Like, they just might see you that way. Be like, well, I can't control what he or she does. Or they might be trying to. It's going to be different for everybody. Tell me about the 5 of Wands. A lack mentality, not feeling secure. I mean, you might literally have a lot of competition around you. But you might also just view it that way, or it might be mirroring to show you that. It's like you're needing to change your reality and your perspective. Like, what you thought things were supposed to be like the promises, honestly, that you were told, the rewards that you were supposed to get, it didn't work out that way. This is a huge reading about perspective. And really needing to, like, see things in a healthier perspective and see what your wounds are so that you can clear it up. So you can get more to this happy state that is already around you. It's just something about you is blocking this, is blocking your perspective of this. You've got wounds here. You've got something in your subconscious, in your underworld, that is... I'm going to try to dig into that if I can remember. I mean, I know it's general, but... You got something to heal. Like, in your hopes and fears, you have the Wheel of Fortune. So, you know, I think you fear things changing, but at the same time, you want things to change. But, you know, there may be something karmic-wise here to clear up. But like I said, I feel like, especially for a lot of Tauruses, but for a lot of people, there's a lot of stuff, not only within this lifetime, but in past lifetimes that you're healing and having to work through. A lot of emotions, a lot of thought patterns, a lot of things being carried on and held on to. A lot of karmic stuff. Tell me about the Wheel of Fortune. A lot of things of receiving and then losing. A lot of working for things and waiting a long time for things just to be held off from it and have it taken away from you. I think a lot of Tauruses actually are healing from a lot of those lessons. I know for me, what I learned in my past lifetimes, it wasn't just in this lifetime. I mean, usually that type of lesson isn't only one lifetime. A lot of people experience that. But I think we just seem to hold on to it because we didn't see things about the ride and the perspective and the higher perspective of life, the spiritual side of life, the lessons. You know, we held on to the it's not fair. The victim mentality, really, of it. We didn't see the lesson of it, to be honest with you. We didn't see the lesson. So I think we think that, or Tauruses feel that they either missed the lesson or aren't getting the lesson. Maybe that's in perspective, or... I mean, I do think the change is a part in it too. Tell me about the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, like there's something that you're holding on to that you're not seeing. Like there's a Four of Pentacles and the Hermit card. And this journey is going to teach you that. But, you know, it's... something has to change. Something has to go. Like the Death card came up. So, a change. A change, but also seeing something. And, you know, letting go of something. Honestly, whether it's a perspective, whether it's a person, a situation, a relationship, whatever, letting go is not one of Taurus's strong suits. On the bottom of the deck, you have the Six of Cups, the Empress, Judgment. Letting past, you know, hurts go, perspectives, all of that. In your likely future, you have the Ten of Wands, Four of Swords, and the Seven of Pentacles. So, this is definitely you rethinking something. Just seeing all this stuff that you're carrying around and being burdened by, and that's blinding you, that you can't even see. And really kind of pulling back. Like, you get a lot of things about, okay, pull back. Pull your energy back. And really just observe. Clear your mind, observe, think about how you feel. Like, really pull back. And it's going to cause you to reevaluate how you're going to go about doing things. So it could be about patience, but I really see the contemplation part of it and how you're going to invest your energy and your time going forward, possibly based on something that you've seen or figured out. Tell me about the Four of Swords. Yeah. Something that you've seen where you haven't been integrated in something, or like the Lovers reversed. So like a past connection gone wrong, maybe something now that's going wrong. The Lovers. Yeah, Six of Cups. So it could be a soulmate now, but it may be something in the past that has caused you anxiety and confusion. There's something you didn't see properly. It could be now, but it could be in the past too. Something of a past relationship, something as a child, something that you're really needing to see, that you are not seeing properly. I mean, you have the Seven of Cups and the Nine of Swords. Something in your, you know, success and prosperity in dealing with others. How you see others, dealing with others. Not seeing the success where there was success. Letting the whole experience override all of it, you know, like it's like you're fully seeing one way or the other. Like you can't see the things for what they were, the good, the bad, the light, the heavy. the lessons, it's like you take the whole experience as a totality, if that's a word, like, instead of just being able to, like, literally ride the roller coaster and see the waves of it, and take what you were supposed to get from it. Take the blessing part of it, instead of being like, well, this wasn't good because it ended so badly, or did this and this, instead of being able to see the good for the good and seeing the bad or the heavy for the heavy. And that's probably in all areas of your life. If it didn't go the way you want, it wasn't successful, or why build again, or why this or this. Like, it's such a totality, and kind of the same way Tauruses look too. They do kind of have the blinders on. They can't see the whole picture. And maybe this is really trying to teach you even more so to see the whole picture, to come out of your own ego, to come out of your own wounds, to come out of your own hurt and see the bigger picture. Because once you can do that, and you could kind of let your ego step aside and be a companion to you instead of running you, the more that the true you can come forth, because it's not going to be so scared and so rigid thinking something's going to go wrong, because it can understand more of the flows of life. Tell me about the 7 Pentacles. I just think it's really you contemplating and looking back at where everything has led you to where you are now. And seeing also your part in that, and knowing that you play a huge part in your reality and in your story and which way it's going to go forward. And choosing to not stay on the ground where you've left yourself, to allow yourself to grow bigger, to expand, to take action and make decisions. I think a lot is really going on with the way that you're seeing things. And I know on one hand that's kind of like a duh thing to say, but on the other hand, I don't think you realize to the extent that you are. One thing I think also that can affect a lot of Taurus is they love, similar in my opinion to like Pisces, that can make you feel like you're not good enough, is giving your power away and letting your love be determined by someone else. And also, a Taurus loves hard. When they really love, they love hard. And most people, honestly, not everybody, but most people can't handle that level of love. Or they seem to be drawn, because they do give away their power so easy, they seem to be really drawn to like codependent type relationships. And it's really kind of hard because, a Taurus can either come across very cut off, kind of like an Aquarius, or they love, and they love hard. And it really sucks because when they seem to be cut off is when they seem to attract things their way. And then once they seem to really like love and open up and be truly committed, like truly like, yes, I'm all in, is really when it tends to be taken away or too much for somebody else or whatever. So there is a thing on perspective there of just learning how to ride that wave, but also there's a balance thing going on too, where Tauruses really need to heal something because they seem to be one end of the spectrum or the other, either closed off or just like so encompassing, where it's like if they could, they would intertwine souls or something. Kind of like the same idea as a Scorpio, but a Scorpio is like different about it. Like they'll come in and like kind of take it and be more like, okay. Unless they're like a really evolved Scorpio, where Tauruses don't get that. See, here's the difference, like in my opinion. Scorpios a lot of times come in harder for the kill at first, and then they tend to pull back, and then keep their reserve. Tauruses tend to be more reserved from the beginning, and then the more and more that they trust and they see it's okay, they let the wall down, and then they come in and they open up and they trust or whatever. And in a way, neither one of those is really healthy. I guess it's a little not so maybe crazy for the Scorpio because they've went and protected themselves. Whereas the Taurus starts out protected and then they open up their vulnerability, and then they're more prone to being hurt or having their ego hurt or not being enough or whatever because they were the one who then left themselves out there. And I do think more of a balance is needing to be had where you're not so guarded at first, but you also don't completely just lay your vulnerability out there, but you are vulnerable. But at the same time, you understand that you're strong enough either way, whether that happens. And it's not you. Like, you can't keep taking that personally. You can't stay on, like, a shaky foundation, like, guarding your heart. Show me what's contributing to this as best you can. Yeah, perspective, for sure. I think the illusion of your reality and what happiness looked like and all that. Your beliefs, your values. I think I really hit on something there when it was like, and I think that's what frustrates Tauruses, is that one thing that really messes with their minds is that whole thing of how they go about doing things. And they do start out a little bit reserved. And then they work on opening up and trusting you. And, you know, then it really smashes. And part of that is probably your imbalance, being attracted to other imbalance. But another part of it is not knowing who you are and not being secure in that and having your own goals, not having a person as a goal, but having your own goals. Because when somebody has goals, they don't settle. Not when they really have goals. And it does kind of suck. And that's the reason I think they're slow to open up, is because they know what it's going to unleash when they do. And on one hand, that's beautiful. Like, don't let that go. But on the other hand, you have to find a balance to that. Even though it's in such ecstasy and beauty to truly just be able to let yourself go to somebody, you have to find a level of that does stay, you know, reserved, and a love to yourself or a love to a higher power if you want to go there or whatever. You can't always just completely relinquish yourself. You know, I mean, I guess in sex you can, like during an orgasm, you know, which is probably why one of the reasons why orgasms are so good is it's that full release and not having to worry. But when it does come to your heart or emotional things or things that are important to you, you do have to find that level, that little nice space that's enough to where you're vulnerable, you're still able to grow, you're still able to feel and have energies flowing back and forth. But yet you're not just laying your heart right on the table and just take care of that, okay? Just take care of it. Don't mess it up now. And I'm trusting you. And you turn and walk out the room and trust somebody who is not the owner of your heart to take care of your heart. And I think that honestly is a hard balance for Tauruses, is really just between being closed off and completely out there. And so they are kind of mirroring their opposite sign of Scorpio, except like I said, I think Scorpio does it in a reversed way, where they come in hot and heavy, and that's usually what just zaps people in, and then they pull back. And then they're like, okay, and they stay right there and they protect. They both have deaths. It's just, I think the Scorpio one is a little more slower and is, after a while, where Taurus, it's more dramatic up front, and either way, they're both out of balance. And both just needing to find that nice, you're the only one who can take care of your heart. No one else, not even your family, no one, like you protect your heart. And I don't say that in a lack way or whatever way, but in a way where I think when Tauruses, when they trust you and when they're loyal to you and they commit to you, they truly give all. Especially if you're not as evolved, to be honest. I know that sounds weird, but to me, if I had to guess, because I'm still evolving, I'm always evolving, but a more evolved Taurus won't have to block themselves off at first or worry about things, because they'll know that healthy balance of taking care of their heart. One that's not as evolved will be a little bit more shut off, which is going to tend to make people come after you. Kind of that push-pull dynamic. You're like running, then you're like, sitting, and, once you trust to put yourself out there, then you kind of get punished for it. Perspective. Instead of just knowing that whenever you love, there's a susceptibility of being hurt. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's humans. And you have to put enough out there to where you can have an energetic exchange between somebody. But you have to reserve enough that you are taking care of yourself. There is a certain part of yourself that nobody should ever see your experience. And I don't mean to say that in a closed off way. I mean to say that in a way of, in the respect of your temple. Maybe over time, but even then, I still don't know. There should just be a part of you that has that respect to you. And you share it with yourself. And you could share with others too, but to fully lay everything out in a way that is not protected is not love of yourself. And I think that's in a lot of ways where Tauruses get stuck a lot of times, is just being scared to open up. And when they finally feel like they do and they put their toe out there, they don't have that boundary of how much to put out. They just regurgitate all of themselves on somebody, and they're just wide open. It's a free-for-all. And that's not really healthy. That's not really balanced. There's a tendency of lack of boundaries and self-love that comes to that. Discipline, a lack of a certain level of discipline. And it also sets things up too. If you don't leave something for yourself, you don't have a little bit of mystery that's still going out. But also it's like, it's a little harder on your ego too, to be honest with you, because when you do that, you bare your soul. You are basically standing there naked and expecting someone to take you and fully who you are, and they don't, because it can be a little overwhelming. And I haven't gotten to the point where I know for sure if that's always going to be unhealthy. I think you should probably always do that, but it's definitely not a good thing. If you're having that issue energy-wise, you are definitely going to be attracting people to you that are having the same type of, boundary, discipline, codependency issue, and they're not going to be able to handle all of that. And rightfully so, you shouldn't give somebody all of that. That's a lot of that's a lot of responsibility. It honestly, it doesn't have as much chase to it. It doesn't have as much mystery to it. And they probably just see that as a sense, a little bit of a lack of respect, because it is true. I mean, it's like you taking yourself, sorry. It's like you taking yourself and just going and laying in the middle of a road. I mean, of course you're going to get run over. Somebody's not going to be paying attention or not caring, and you're going to get run over. So as much as you could be like, I fully trust, I give myself away, as beautiful as that is, no, you've got to have a balance of common sense at the same time that you love yourself enough also to protect yourself. You just can't stay so much in a fear-based mode, but you can't go so vulnerable that now you're not protected, and then you're like, ooh, and then you go scurrying away in your corner again. There's a balance that needs to be had. And on a way that really sucks, because, there is, to me, there's nothing more of ecstasy and bliss than purely just opening yourself up and giving yourself away. But the reality of the world is, really nobody is going to take care of that the way you need them to. And to be honest with you, because everybody is living their own lives and taking care of themselves, really nobody actually even has the capacity to. So if you're really wanting to open yourself up in that way of true vulnerability and ecstasy, and of a no holding back and just letting flow, and you want to be received in the way that you want to, do it to yourself, or do it to your higher self, your God, your source. In that way, you can flow and give your all, and it has the capacity to receive you and give back. Otherwise, I don't care how great or balanced the person is, that is too much of a responsibility on a person to be able to handle all of you. And I don't know if I'm the only person like this. I don't think I am. I think it's a big thing with Taurus and Pisces, where they just love that way. They're either very pulled off, or they're just giving all of themselves to you. And a big lesson here is in finding the balance of that, and not in a held back way. I know I'm repeating myself, but in a way where you give, you can have the energetic exchange, you can feel, you can grow. But that true vulnerability that you're looking for, that true release, safer in the bedroom while you're having an orgasm, or when you're sitting there in your meditation, or in your connection to your higher self, or to God, or to the universe or source. In that way, you should be pretty good. Make sure you're also protected. But in that, just make sure you're protected too. I don't want to act like, no, you're great. Like, make sure you, call in and see yourself in your protected light and all that. You can look that up in a different video. But besides that, you will then be able to sit and completely open yourself up and be received. And it will be able to be properly taken and given back. But with humans, I don't think that's possible. You're going to have to find your balance there. And I think that's what Tauruses are being guided to right now, is finding that balance to where you can move forward in a healthier way and in a healthier perspective. So I hope I just read all that right, because that was just a lot of, Okay. So I mean, your energy cards pretty much say the same thing. I mean, there's something you're really not seeing. You have contract, for lack of time, or sake of time, I'm not going to hold them up. You have contract, action, third chakra, Archangel Shamiel. So your solar plexus, rest, rejuvenate, carrying connections to temple path and strategy. So there's something you're not seeing about the way you've been taking action. There is a lack of will and power and determination and self-esteem and being good enough and all that. And like I said, it's asking you to be pull back and go look within and see on how you're taking actions in this world, with relationships, people, everything. And you are going to be re-strategizing, like that Seven of Pentacles. You have strategy here too. You are going to be re-strategizing to put yourself on your proper path. But what might assist you beforehand with that is you have storm warning, and then after that you have the garden and the gate. Something that's going to come to push you outside of your comfort zone so that you can heal those things. And then here's the world and change your perspective because there's something that you weren't seeing properly. It's going to give you a better level of balance and appreciating what's around you and knowing where to go and speaking your truth. And it just then gets better from there. So don't get totally like taken apart by if, you know, something comes and it's kind of tumultuous in order to help you with this. Because you have trumpet and frog, trumpet, frog, antidote, snake. So, something that you're not seeing, could be awakening to something. You could be communicating with your guides or someone that's, you know, departed or whatever, but I mostly get an awakening and seeing something being like, you know, called, like awakening. And going through a transformation, a cleansing. And it may even be a little unsettling. But it's going to end up being, what results from it will end up being the balancing force or the remedy to a problem that has been very toxic to you. Some addictive thoughts, patterns, ways of being, just toxicity and things that weren't good for you. So again here, ride the wave. Don't go in a victim mentality about it because you're kind of being pushed. But you have my tentacles friend and microcosm sea monsters. Oh, that's crazy. You have 34 and 35. So there is an ascension going on here. Reclaim your overextended self. You have become overextended like an octopus. I'm going to read both of these because I kind of feel like they both apply. Because in some ways, I feel like Taurus is overextending themselves, but also not focusing on things they need to focus on. So, you have become overextended like an octopus who has stretched each arm in a different direction. This overextension has left you weak, vulnerable, and haggard. It is time to reduce your obligations and draw inwards for a time. Decide upon your highest priorities and release those duties that no longer aid you or are not as important as they once were. Reclaim the parts of yourself, both mentally and physically, that are being improperly used, and let them rest for a time. When you are feeling stronger, put them back to use constructively if you see the need, but do not let yourself get so overburdened again. Always keep an arm in reverse for a surprise task that is near and dear to your heart or fuels your personal ambitions. While focus can be valuable, putting all your eggs in one basket can be detrimental. Your path is too narrow. Branch out and explore new activities with which to try your hand. Explore, a new hobby, class, fitness regimen, or even a new profession. With experimentation, you will find a new passion or two to pursue. So I really get from this, it's both. It's like pull back from what you've been doing and focusing on and start to learn and focus in another direction, which we've been getting a lot in the Taurus readings. Be careful of bottling up your inner demons. On the outside, you are calm, but inside you are hiding tumultuous emotions. You are wasting a great deal of energy keeping these incest monsters contained. You are wasting your faculties trying to make everything appear okay on the surface, when really you are hurting eternally. Resolve what is inside you. Make peace with your past so that you can move forward with goodness and light in your heart. Make peace with your present self, even if it's not ideal. Know that it is within your power to make changes to yourself, but only slowly with great effort. Take steps to change what you can and make peace with that which you cannot. When your interior finally reflects your exterior, you will at last be ready to face the world. So like I said, like an alignment is needed here. And you also have, back off. So if you need to, tell somebody else to back off if you need time. But I think you kind of need to back off and go within your own energy again and see things. You have it's time for a treat. It's teaching you how to balance things out so that things can be good again. But it's also teaching you how to look at your perspective so that you can enjoy those things. Because depending on your perspective is whether or not you can see the happiness in your environment, whether or not you can see the blessings, whether or not you even allow yourself to open up to those blessings. And then when you do, not to open up so much that you're dependent on them, or that you're dependent on them to take care of your happiness and your protection and your security, to find that balance. Because it is time for you to have those good things. It is time for you to see your blessings. But something about your perspective is still off here. And you're needing to back off and go within and see. Look non-judgmentally and see what's going on here. Because your blessings are coming to you. But you need to know how to see them, and you need to know how to be balanced with them. And then you have a time for spirit, pink lotus flower, which this kept wanting to come up. Spiritual quest, travel, calm, relax, yoga pose. Too, and I've been saying that for a little while. Third eye and crown chakras. Third eye and crown chakra activation, chakra awakening, connection to all, crown chakra connection to the universe, receiving universal love messages, self-connected peacefully to the earth, peaceful flowing energy in the body, tranquil, sublime spiritual moments of connection, blessings showering upon you due to correct relationships with the body and the soul. Like I said, good things coming to you, but you have to have that balance in the perspective, and this is what it's trying to teach you. Time to take a class, course, or new study program. Second card that's saying this stuff. Time to welcome in a new teacher, either in the form of a physical being or perhaps a path that speaks to your heart at this time, or a spirit guide who resonates with you. Know that while this path and easeful philosophy may seem out of character for you, it is a deep and true part of yourself that has long yearned for acknowledgement, fulfillment, and nirvana that is on its way. So this is kind of what I was saying too about if you're wanting to truly open yourself up in the way you have been that has kind of burned you in the past, don't completely shut that down, but save it for when you're having sex. I would say food, but that could get you in trouble. For sex too, so have boundaries with it. But release during sex. And also for when you're meditating or when you're connecting to your higher self, to source, God, and all of that. It's asking you to focus on and open yourself up to... It wants you to learn to be vulnerable, but to be vulnerable in the ways that are safe for you, and to learn balance in the other ways so that you can ride that wave and navigate this world and enjoy things. but have your heart a little bit more taken care of. I hope you follow and know what I'm saying on this, because if I just keep going on, I'm going to be beating a dead horse here. You have heart's desire. You are being showered with love. Your time of waiting will soon be over. All your heart's deepest desires will be fulfilled. You have speak your truth. Stand up for what you believe in, regardless of the consequences. Speak your truth, no matter what others may think. It's time to stand in your own power for all the world to see. So you have a big thing here of like your heart chakra and your third eye. And then you have, can you feel me? Your feminine aspect is awakening. Feel the goddess energy inside you. She seeks acknowledgement and validation. New energies, insights, and opportunities are emerging. Wake up, embrace, and celebrate. And then you have new direction. So like I said, new, refocusing. And then it's weird because then after this, you have alchemy. Like between two people. Maybe I don't know if this is just within yourself or if this is with your higher self or with source. But you have alchemy, soulmate, flame of love, sexuality, the journey, renewal, like a kundalini type rising, and then guidance and balance. Like you're being guided to this, but like I said, I don't know if this is within you and or to the above, or if then it's mirrored in a relationship around you. But here's alchemy. Your inner light shines when you are at peace with yourself and the world around you. Let go of the struggle and feel the beauty inside you. Allow all to just be and just be you. You have soulmate, flame of love, allow the infinite power of love within you to radiate unconditionally in all directions, yet stand tall in your sense of self and in your own truth. The healing power of love will help you burn through all illusion, and you will discover new possibilities. This is a powerful time of transformation, ideas, and creativity. Sexuality. I think for some people it is going to end up with a type of connection, but this is very much, honestly, about within you. Like seeing yourself, integrating those parts of yourself, loving and being attracted to you and to your connection above, and letting the energies, maybe that's what's been holding you off from all the things that you've been wanting, and the energies is you've been trying to put them into external things that kind of hurt you, or in your mind see that you hurt you because you haven't found that balance. So it's keeping you somewhat closed off. And it's asking you to rechange your focus and put it in a area where it's safe for you to open up and let things flow, so that those energies can start to flow and heal again. Now just know that there is a chance while you're doing this, because that energy opens and flows, you are going to have things come up you're going to have to work through. So don't be like, oh, I can't do that. That's unsafe. That's more unsafe than this. No, you got to get it up. So like I said, anytime you awaken, you're usually going to have a shadow come with it, because once you cast more light, and if you're connecting in the way I'm saying, there's going to be more light brought in, it's going to shed light on those shadows. But you're going to want to see that, because it's what's blocking you. It's what's hindering you. It's what you can take and transmute into your strength, and instead of allowing it to keep it as your weakness and blocking you and holding you down. So as much as you're like, at first, you want to see it. You want to work through it. You want to transmute it and love it. And, what's the word I'm looking for? Integrate. So this is mostly within yourself. I do think eventually it will be mirrored with somebody else, but this is an integration and a falling in love with yourself and with your connection. Allowing yourself to be truly vulnerable and in that ecstasy type state. that you're trying so hard to be in with someone or something in your environment. But it's going to keep you closed off and it's going to keep you blocked. That energy can only flow if you do it within yourself and within your connection above. So do it. Let the beauty come. Be vulnerable in that way. Learn to have ecstasy in different ways. And also don't get scared at what comes up to be worked through and healed. Okay? Like, it's still safe. It's just you're moving energy again. Which, yay, that's what you want. You're wanting to move energy. It's just the way you're looking at it is different. It's not going to look like that right now. There's something else you need to do. And this is what you need to do. You need to move that energy within yourself. Because you're blocking something in and you're holding something in. And it's stopping. It's not healthy for you. It's going to cause disease. It's going to hinder what you want. You're not going to get your blessings. You're not going to even see your blessings. So let that energy flow, because I'm telling you, when I just get this vibe, when you open that energy up and you do it in that same trusting way you do with whatever you're trying to come at, and being like, look at me, all of me, take me. When you do that with yourself and with your connection, some energy is going to start moving. And on one hand, that's beautiful. And on the other hand, you are going to have to work through some stuff because you've been holding it tight and holding it down. So just get through it to get to the other side. Okay? Because your blessings are coming and it needs to get that out of you so that you can see and work through and accept and do all this in the way you're supposed to. Or that's for best for you. And then I think your animal spirit energies, we're almost done, is you have bat, fire ant, hummingbird. So here's your underworld, your shadow work, darkness, letting go, death leading to rebirth. Before emerging, the bat waits for the sun to set and the moon to rise. In the darkness, it can see all that was invisible in the daylight hours. The bat is a master of the subtle senses, of the underlying forces that cause some things to prosper and others to fade. The bat card shows up to signify the ending of a chapter, the closing of a door. The bat comes swiftly, encouraging us to move on. In just a few hours, a new day dawns, no more lingering in the past. When in balance, accepts, adapts, and adjusts. When out of balance, refuses to let go, reminisces. To bring into balance, watch the sunrise. You have fire ant, aggression, rigid thinking, following orders. Fire ant energy flares up without us noticing. It's the force that attracts us to people and situations that feed our imbalances rather than those that counter them. Gossiping and blaming others are a few indicators that misaligned fire ant energy is at play. You may also find yourself stewing on a person or situation, only making things worse. How can you break free from the drama and cool down? Fire ants are surprisingly sensitive. Don't pretend the heat isn't getting to you. When in balance, thoughtful, disciplined. When out of balance, argues, excess heat, gossips. To bring into balance, solo time, walks at night. And that's why I was saying, like, if you have this in balance, it is going to be safe to opening yourself up like that to people because they have an imbalance too. So maybe one day, if you find yourself with a balanced person, you could completely open yourself up in that way, especially as you really learn your own confidence. Even if they do something, you know, you have your own confidence, you have your own strength and will and self-esteem, so it doesn't matter in the same way. I think as you heal, you will actually probably be able to open yourself in that way with people, just because you're so secure and confident that none of that dictates how you feel. You know what I mean? Hummingbird. You have positive, enthusiastic, spiritually resourceful. And I know in a shamanic way, hummingbird is very much about your beliefs, your traditions, the illusions, the story in the world that you were told or that you tell yourself. It's on that plane of things, beliefs. Inside the tiny hummingbird resides an endless well of energy and positivity. The hummingbird's secret is that they have learned where to gather nectar, and they return to these sources daily for nourishment and rejuvenation. This sacred elixir springs from many sources, but usually involves nature, creativity, and exploring spirituality. Follow the way of the hummingbird and you cannot go wrong. Every droplet of life becomes sweet, every moment worth savoring. When in balance, smart, curious, loves to learn. When out of balance, pushy, insistent, sharp, to bring into balance, take a class. So this is really showing too, like the bat is going to help you navigate this, and something might even push you into looking into this spiritual part in order to find this level of, ecstasy, peace, and harmony that you're looking for, because you have this habit of looking in the wrong places for it. And it's going to teach you to do pretty much like I just said, like look within yourself and look to spirit and find that harmony within that, and to move energy. It's going to help you change where your sources are, where your thinking is, even the way you look at things. And when you keep going to the wrong sources or wrong sources for your happiness, it's going to keep causing blocks with you. It's bringing you to healthier places and healthier ways of looking at things. So something's going to spark this new beginning. These are your shaman kind of advice cards. So here's your Ace of Wands. Spark this new kind of beginning within you. With doing that, there's the Devil card. So it's going to show you some things about yourself. You may even want to at first. Here's your Emperor card again. You may even want to sit there and do nothing. This guy looks pretty mad and bahumbug, pretty grumpy. You may want to lock down. But what it's really saying to you, and then you have the Two of Pentacles here, and this guy's meditating and creating the peace within his apartment. So when this happens, whatever this is, it's going to trigger some things within you. Things are going to come up, like I said. You have the option to either sit like this about it or to connect like this about it. I love how these readings come together. It always amazes me. But it's up to you, Taurus. Close down and get angry, or open up and connect and let the energies move. See them, observe them, love them, have compassion, and release. Stay blocked, angry, stuck, and your perception being in a victim mentality, or use the opportunity for what you can to connect, open up, be vulnerable, and find yourself and let those energies flow, no matter where you are and no matter what is happening. It might teach you to actually find your peace in any situation and no matter what's going on. And that brings you a level of inner peace, happiness, harmony, discipline, strength, things within you that you never found, that you know you could make it through any situation because you made it through this just fine and dandy. Honestly, in a situation you shouldn't have made it through, or connected through, or found peace in. It's a little scary. But it's fully assisting you to help you with this. To learn how to take action and not just stay so contained. And to learn how to flow and love again and go on this new beginning. And learn how to connect to your higher self. And learn how to move energy and work your powers. To see yourself for what you really are and not minimize what you think you are. So I love you guys. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this really helps you I wish this was a little bit more, woo, of a reading, for those of you who are even still with me. But honestly, this is kind of like that painfully beautiful part, and it is leading to beautiful and better things. You're just going to have to ride it and know that you are strong enough and know that it's bringing you somewhere where you want to be. But sometimes, especially with Tauruses, real shakeups have to happen in order for you to lose a level of control, in order to not be holding on so tight and open up and let the stuff come out. So just know you're being guided and you are strong enough and you will get through this. Just embrace it. Don't judge it. Don't resist it. Just observe, see, love, and have compassion, and let it move. Okay? I love you guys. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Also, especially comment. You might as well get a chance for a free reading. Thank you so much again for everybody who has done all that, who services, donations, giving back. Just thank you so much. And thank you for being patient with me on this journey too, because I'm sitting in the same boat as you, okay? And I'm trying to get through this and heal the best I can and stay motivational but yeah, be real. And sometimes I'm just where I am too. So I love you guys. And just keep going, okay? Have trust, have faith, and know who you are. Don't forget about the power that you have. Sometimes power is in action, and sometimes it's just staying strong and letting things be and flow. So, I love you. I'll be seeing you soon. Bye.